afternoon, and welcome to AIADA's AutoTalk. I'm your host, Rachel Soleimani. A quick reminder that anyone that is registered for today's program will be receiving a copy by the end of next week. And if you have any questions, feel free to enter them into the lower right side of your interface into the Q&A bar. Now, please join me in welcoming the YouTube guru, Angie Kuko. Angie is a senior automotive account executive at Google and has a ton to share with us. So, Angie, I'm going to stop talking and let you take it away.
Thank you, Rachel. I'm excited to be here. Hello, everybody. As you see here, my name is Angie Kuko, and I'm an automotive retail strategist from our Google Detroit office. So for years now, I've worked with dealers and retail clients to help them understand digital a little better and how it can be leveraged to sell more cars. So today, we're going to touch on a media strategy that by and large is still really underutilized by most dealers, and that's video advertising. But it can be the best way to reach your customers. And since Google has a pretty big video platform, YouTube, I wanted to talk about ways you can use this platform to drive customers to your dealership and ultimately sell more cars. And I just also want to say, I know this is a very tough time in auto, and we're seeing a lot of issues with chip shortages and inventory levels. And even if this isn't the best time to be moving new cars, this platform can be easily used also to help you promote your used car inventory and even your fixed ops. So as we go through these slides, sort of keep in mind that this is just a great way to communicate with people about the services you offer in general. Now, since we're talking about video today, I thought I'd start by showing you a short one.
This is what you show them. But what do they see? What sticks in their mind? In their heart? When do we hit them?
I want a full-size SUV, and I want to spend around $50K. Holy shit, that's a lot of money. I wonder what else I could get.
When the funnel flips, what's the opportunity? What do we say?
A brand new, totally re-engineered, reimagined.
No! They got 100 streaming services, 1,000 shows, 1 billion hours of new stuff on YouTube. They need a punch in the face. A grab in the guts. Start high and don't let go. The machines won't tell you what story to tell, but they can help you speak so you're heard, show up so you're seen, and remember. Better ads are better. Unskippable labs.
Now, that video came from a team at Google, which is called our Unskippable Labs team. And that team really works with advertisers to help you develop video content that's really powerful. And I've been able to attend a couple of these labs and even hold one. And they're really interesting because they go through very specific things about your video ads, like where you should start, where you should end, what's the sweet spot, how many seconds should these be, what kind of content. And we're going to go through a little bit of that today. But if you're ever interested in one of these unskippable labs, that's something that I would be happy to talk with you about at some point. You could always reach out to me after this webinar. So what I want to talk about today is how understanding the power of video can really drive business results for you. Because we watch a lot of video content in this country. The average American spends over 7 hours every day looking at video on a screen. The sight, sound, and motion of video make it the most interactive way to speak to your customers. That hasn't changed. But what has changed is where and how we're watching that video content. It's not just on TV screens anymore. In fact, 92% of Americans now stream TV over the internet. 92. That's nearly everybody, maybe excluding a few babies. So basically, you can reach everybody streaming. So we're living in this new streaming first world. In fact, we saw that CTV or connected TV households, where people use services like Netflix, Hulu, and YouTube to stream content to their TV screens, surpassed traditional cable back in 2018. So it's already been a good 4 years that we've seen TV be overtaken by the streaming services. 43% of households in the US have no cable TV at all. And in homes with household heads under 35 years old, that number goes up to 60%. This makes it harder and harder for us as auto marketers to reach our audiences in the usual ways, like on traditional TV. So in this chart you're looking at, we're seeing the TV reach of that age 25 to 54 demographic. Okay, so you see all the different OEMs here, and each one has a blue point on the chart. And that blue point represents the amount of reach they're able to get with their total TV investment. And you can see that no matter how much they spend, so if you look at the chart across the bottom, we've got 10 million, 20 million, 30 million, even $40 million. Even when they're spending at the high ends, they don't get any more than about 55% reach of the audiences. Those blue lines really don't change much, no matter how much you're investing. So the solution is to reach car shoppers where they are present. And with 800 million automotive video views each month, YouTube is the #1 place to find them. In fact, 69% of new car buyers use YouTube to decide which car to buy. And more importantly, it leads them to take action. So if we look at the top actions taken after watching a video on YouTube, 41% will go to your website. And they also take those other actions you care about, like scheduling test drives, locating a dealership, or getting a quote. But as I said at the beginning, YouTube tends to be underutilized by most dealers. And rather than having an always-on strategy for video, it tends to be used sporadically for special events, for example. But auto shoppers are not only using video in the research process, they're hyper using it. So you should be there with your message when they are. So I'd like to go into some best practices for ways dealers can use YouTube to have the right creative and ad formats to find the right customers at the right time. Now, YouTube is all about video. So before we even dive into ways you can advertise on YouTube and find the right shoppers at the right time, let's talk a little bit about content. And hopefully we'll have a little bit of fun watching some videos as well. Now, before we actually get into the content, I do want to make a disclaimer here. I have always maintained, and I maintain still, that you can have great results on YouTube without hiring video companies to create slick content for you. You know, YouTube started as a grassroots user-generated video platform, and what is real still resonates with YouTube users today. You can go out to your lot, grab your phone, and do a walk-around video and upload it to YouTube. Shoppers will find those videos very helpful. In fact, one of the best ad campaigns I ever saw was from a dealer in Ohio, and he had done just that. He had a colleague videotaping him with his phone, and you could see the guy just standing on the car lot, and you could hear all the highway traffic behind him, and you could hear the wind blowing. It was terrible quality, but it had the best click-through rates and view rates that I've maybe ever seen. And I think it's because it really resonated with people. He was just a real guy, someone who was trustworthy, that they felt they could go to that dealership and talk to him, and they'd get the help they needed. So don't think that you have to follow some of these examples I'm going to show you. But if you do want to create professional content, I do have some tips and best practices for doing so. So first, you want to focus on the vehicle itself rather than your own dealership or even just the offer. the vehicle is the key focus. It's what users are coming to YouTube to look at. So you want to focus there first. So here's an example of one ad.
Dirt roads to downtown, backyard to black tie. The new Honda Ridgeline is your all-weather, all-season truck. 4 doors, 5 passengers, and 26 mpg. Rugged, yet refined. It's time to ride high in a Ridgeline.
Okay, so that's one tactic you can take. You can really feature the vehicle itself and talk about some of its features. You want to keep in mind there are a lot of car models out there, and people who aren't as close to this industry as we all are sometimes don't know how to differentiate one from the other. So you need to be the one to educate your shoppers about why yours is different and special. And do include a concrete offer when you are showcasing the vehicle. We find that videos that do this perform better than videos that are more generic, just about the dealership or about a vehicle without an offer. So here's an example of an ad with some good offers.
The Acura Exchange program is going on now, and there has never been a better time to upgrade. Enjoy special lease and finance offers when you upgrade to a newer, safer, more reliable Acura. Upgrade to any of these new Acuras with the flexible payment that fits your budget. Plus, you may be eligible for above market value for your trade. Call, come in, or click now for details on the Acura Exchange program.
Offers are so important because in the end, we all want a deal. Now, we see that also in Google search ads. Messages that contain an offer are clicked up to 3 times as often because deals really do resonate with people. We all want a coupon. So have an offer, and if possible, set it apart. In this first video, they talk about daily rather than monthly pricing.
You may be eligible for the Honda Vehicle Exchange program. Enjoy special lease and finance offers when you upgrade to a newer, safer, more reliable Honda. Call, come in, or click now for details on the Honda Vehicle Exchange program.
Now, Paragon has been doing a lot of those ads showing daily pricing, and I think that's really smart. I've actually never seen that before, but $7 a day looks pretty great compared to giving a monthly pricing that always looks more expensive. In fact, I think they should be voicing it over and not just showing it on the screen there. In the second example, the offer is augmented by some value adds of the vehicle. So in this case, they start talking about the third row seating.
For a limited time only, get the 7-seat Nissan Pathfinder ST two-wheel drive 2017 build from only $39,990 drive away.
Now, when you do want to highlight your dealership, include an offer that only you can offer.
Don't give your trade away. Fred Martin Superstore needs your trade in. Get up to $6 grand over book. Buy a Dodge Jeep Chrysler or Ram and get 0% financing up to 84 months with 0 down. Drive a Ram Coupe Cab for $229 per month. Ram start $22,900.
And do highlight why you are the local business that understands your customers.
When you've been in business as long as we have, you learn there's nothing sweeter than a scoop and a smile. And since 1969, we've been serving the flavors and faces that make us who we are. The cherry on top, the new Accord. It's built for a focus on our future to help navigate all of life's rocky roads. The 2018 Accord. Summer Sundays are better with a Honda.
Upgrade to the all-new Accord for only $249 a month. Shop your local Honda dealer or online at northernohiohondadealers.com.
So the moral of the story there is when you are featuring your dealership, you have your own personality. Your dealership has its personality. It has things that set it apart. So make sure that when you're running these video ads that you showcase that. Now, one tip I also have is if you do decide to hire a videographer to create assets for you, have them create templates that can be reused with different models or offers. So note in this first one that I'm going to play here, there's a side overlay where the name of the dealership can be displayed.
The Honda Exchange program is going on now, and it's the perfect time to take advantage of these incredible savings. Enjoy special lease and finance offers when you upgrade to a newer, safer, more reliable Honda. Upgrade to any of these new Hondas with a flexible payment that fits your budget. Plus, you may be eligible for above market value for your trade. Call, come in, or click now for details on the Honda Vehicle Exchange Program.
It's a lot easier to change those side cards than it is to record a whole new video. I'll show you one more. This one, instead of having a side card the entire time, has front and end cards, sort of bookending the video.
You may be eligible for the Ford Upgrade Program. Enjoy special lease and finance offers when you upgrade to a newer, safer, more reliable Ford. Call, come in, or click now for details on the Ford Upgrade Program.
Now, you can use video to really educate your customers on your vehicle offerings. In fact, a lot of people do go to YouTube to learn. They want to be educated about the product they're interested in buying. So you can dive deeper and really delve into what sets your vehicle apart. And you can create an experience with your vehicles. So in this first example here, it's an example of a Mercedes long form video. It's a 2-minute long ad, and I promise I won't make you sit through that whole 2 minutes. But it really gets into the vehicle, and it's more of an emotional connection with the car. Maybe something that most people don't know is that your ads on YouTube can be any length. You'll be charged at the 30-second mark, so most ads tend to be 15 or 30 seconds, but you can have a longer ad. So I'll play a little bit of this for you.
What if I told you that luxury is not something you buy, but something you create? Not something you're handed, but something handcrafted. It's towering status, its awe-inspiring presence and massive ground clearance that soars above the road beneath. This is the new king of luxury SUVs.
It's a pretty cool car too. I like the lime green. We also have advertisers using those vehicle walkarounds to give their customers a deep view into the car for sale. So this is sort of a more spiffy version of the example I gave you about the dealer in Ohio who had done his own video walkaround videos for ads.
This is the all-new 2019 Ford F-150 XL STX model. This F-150 comes with an EcoBoost 2.7-liter turbocharged V6 engine with auto start and stop technology. It is a two-wheel drivetrain and a 10-speed transmission with tow haul, snow and wet, Eco Select, and Sport modes. This Super Crew has unique...
Okay. So all of these are examples of creatives that tend to work well for dealers that we see get better results in ads. So again, just to sort of recap here, you want to feature the vehicle itself. Try to have an offer that sets you apart. When you do highlight your dealership, make sure that your dealership's personality shines through and you kind of give your value prop why you're different than the other dealerships. And don't be kind of hesitant to try some of these longer forms or really do a vehicle walk around, because in the end, that's really what people are looking for. Now, once you have your creatives in place, you want to promote those videos to reach the most qualified car shoppers you can. And that starts with understanding what advertising strategies work best for your goals. So we have different strategies depending on what part of the funnel you're targeting. So the first thing you'll want to do is start by defining those objectives. Are you trying to drive consideration of your vehicles, meaning getting people to know about one of your cars or driving awareness to your dealership? Or are you targeting shoppers who are ready to buy that vehicle? Depending on your goals, we have different ad formats that I think work better than others. So first, if you're trying to grow interest in your product or your dealership, first we'd recommend concentrating on our signature ad product, our TrueView in-stream ad unit. Now this is a pre-roll ad, meaning that it runs before the video content someone came to YouTube to watch. What sets this ad product apart from all others is that it is skippable. So you've probably seen these ads when you go to YouTube to watch content. An ad will run, and after about 5 seconds, a button appears that says skip ad. Now, if someone pushes the skip ad button and doesn't watch the advertiser doesn't pay a dime. You only pay if someone watches your ad to 30 seconds or completion. So if they skip at 5, 15, even 29 seconds, you don't pay a thing. That's why we call it true view. You only pay if truly interested shoppers who opt to sit through your entire message watch you. And to make this even better, these ads are very cost effective. We're seeing average costs per completed views under 10 cents. So that's less than 10 cents for someone so interested in your product that they sat through your entire ad. Now, another ad unit that works well to drive interest in your product is our bumper ad product. Bumpers are fun. They are short 6-second ads to quickly get your message across to your shoppers in a very non-intrusive way. They're not skippable because they're only 6 seconds. They can be used very creatively to maybe build a story over time, or you can just shout out an incentive. And if you don't have a 6-second ad, we actually have a free tool you can use. We've created something called the Bumper Machine to help you build these from your existing video creatives. So you just load your current video into the Bumper Machine, and it will spit out several different variations of 6-second ads, and you can just choose one. Now, if you want to drive a particular action with your video ads, then I'd encourage you to try one of our newest products, which is called Video Action Campaigns. You want to think of these ads as a way of making videos shoppable. And that includes your TV itself if you're streaming YouTube to that screen. Video action campaigns are designed to drive specific conversions. So once you decide what those will be, so maybe it's a website visit or filling out a lead form, even a phone call, you set up conversion tracking. We then use that in conjunction with smart bidding to show your ads to those audiences we think will be more likely to complete your conversion. Now, these ads show across different feeds on YouTube and even on watch pages, and they also show on our Google Partner video sites. These ads, and I don't know if you can see it that well on this smaller screen, but they include a blue call to action button. So you can see it there on the second example. It says apply now. And on that third example, it says learn more. And these are meant to help encourage people to take the action you want them to take. Now, sorry, just a second, I'm having some technical issues over here. Another thing you can do to sort of kick up your ads a notch is combine these ads with our new lead form extensions to collect your conversions right from the ad unit without requiring a shopper to even leave the YouTube experience or visit your website or wait until later. So now, when you show your video ad, you can have a link below to ask somebody to fill out their lead information. If they click on that, you can kind of see this animation here. It will open up and the person can fill out their name, email, whatever information you're trying to collect and submit their information directly to you. So these are something that don't cost anything more, but it's a great way to make sure that your videos are really actionable. Now, the ads you choose to run are important, but they're only nominal to the real value you get by reaching out to your customers on YouTube, because the real value to be found there is with the types of targeting you can employ with us. So I'm going to show you some of the top ways to target on YouTube. First, you can target in-market shoppers. So you can target people watching videos who Google has found to be ready to buy a vehicle. We know that by looking at the signals they give us online. So if somebody has been searching for a specific vehicle, watching videos about that vehicle, maybe even downloading car comparison apps, we can say with a lot of certainty that that person is in market and not just someone who is wondering what the car looks like. So you can target them specifically with your video ads. You can also target custom audiences, and one of my all-time favorite ways to target is something called custom intent. And you're bringing together Google search and YouTube by doing this type of targeting. So you can say, for example, okay, YouTube, I want you to show my ad to anybody who has searched for Jeep Wranglers in the past 7 days. So this is a great way to not only find people who are searching for your vehicle, but maybe also people who are searching for a competitor's vehicle, and you're going to do some conquesting. Oops, we're skipping one there. Another one that we have is demographic targeting. So that's probably the simplest to understand. You can target people based on their demographics, on their age, on things like household income. You can really kind of dive down and try to get the right shopper for your vehicle. Next to that, we have customer match. Customer match is when you take the controls of targeting, because it allows you to upload your CRM data into Google or YouTube and then show a specific video to people you have in your CRM list. So maybe you want to show a specific service offer to people who have been service customers of yours in the past. Or maybe you know that people have leases expiring in the next 60 days and you want to give them a special offer. Finally, we have similar audiences. And with similar audiences, we use your CRM list that you uploaded into Customer Match, and we find people online who might not be in your CRM, but have very similar behaviors, similar shopping behaviors, and we think they'd be good for you to target as well. Now, you can actually automate all of this by using dynamic video solutions. We have a tool called Director Mix that helps you customize your ads to the audiences you target. So you can do this at scale. You can upload a base video creative, and then you can put in a bunch of different types of ad copies or text overlays, maybe images you want to include, and then you can have it dynamically change depending on what kind of audience you want to target. So you have a lot of control when you're doing video advertising on YouTube. Now finally, like anything, you'll really want to experiment with this to see what works best for you. But it's important to make sure you're measuring your results at all stages. So beyond just clicks and views, look at website visits. Use Google's Lift studies to see how your ads drove increased consideration. We actually also have a search lift study to show how your video ads drive increased search traffic on Google. Make sure you're also measuring conversions to see how your video ultimately drives form fills and phone calls, and look at store visits as well. To wrap it up today, I thought I'd talk a little bit about one of the latest and greatest products from Google, which is our YouTube CTV product, or YouTube Connected TV. So this really takes your reach on YouTube and expands it to where more of your car shoppers are. So just what is YouTube CTV? Well, you can think of it like TV, but better. So what do I mean by that? I mean targeting YouTube.com, but instead of targeting people watching YouTube videos on their computer or on their mobile device, you're targeting people watching YouTube on their TV screens. Now, I know that there are a lot of buzzwords and acronyms out there, FEPs, OTT, CTV. It's enough to boggle your mind, but never fear. We are going to keep today's focus pure and simple. YouTube on the TV screen, which we call CTV or connected TV, because that's what people are doing. They're connecting YouTube to the TV screen. And people, including your potential car buyers, are doing that in greater and greater numbers. Now, I showed you this slide earlier, and I wanted to bring it back because I think it's important to look at again here. If you remember, we looked at this to look at how the black line, which represents connected TV households, or people streaming to their TV screens, intersects with that red line, which represents traditional TV viewers. Now, you can kind of clearly see what's happening here. Again, we said as of 2018, a shift started happening in the way we watch our content. Instead of just turning on the TV and channel surfing whatever happens to be airing from our cable box, we started making decisions about what, how, and when we want to watch content, and more often started streaming that content to our screens. So today, 113 million households have access to connected TV. So that's 4 out of every 5 households. At the same time, this traditional linear TV usage keeps falling. We're at a record low number of households that have access to cable. So since 2018, TV ratings are down about 25%. So while TV is still relevant, that hasn't changed. What has changed is the way we watch it. We stream, we choose, and by and large, people are choosing to stream YouTube, from movies to live concerts and events, TV shows, and sports. All of this content is being consumed on YouTube. And maybe more importantly, consumers are engaged. They're sticking around and watching longer, often more than 3 hours at a time. We've seen this watch time when YouTube is streamed to TV screens actually grow 90% year over year. I'm not sure what that says about us as a society, that we're sitting for longer and longer times in front of screens, but there you have it. So we do have people watching this TV-like content on YouTube CTV. But we also have people watching that content that makes YouTube unique and special. One thing YouTube has that other streaming or traditional TV services don't is that grassroots, creator-driven content we talked about earlier. The stuff that feels real, that makes us feel connected, and that, really sets YouTube apart. So it's content you can't find anywhere else and which is highly personal. So when people watch YouTube CTV, it's everything they know and love about the platform on a bigger screen, often with other people, and with more attention than they're paying to any other type of content out there. So how does YouTube CTV compare to linear TV networks if you were choosing where to show your ads? Its scale is on par with most popular TV networks. YouTube CTV is watched in more households than all but the biggest 5 TV networks. But really, YouTube CTV is just one small piece of the entire YouTube ecosystem. If we were to take the entire YouTube ecosystem into account, our reach covers more like 100 million households. And at that scale, traditional TV networks and partners are just no match. And when we look at engagement levels, there's actually no TV network that's even remotely in contention with YouTube CTV for watch time. YouTube has more than 3 times the watch time of even the closest linear competitor. So that's about 670 million more hours watched per month than any other network. So a fun fact, I think this is just kind of interesting to report, because we're comparing YouTube to all of these different television networks, but depending on what generation you find yourself in, that might not mean much. So when I was working on these slides, just out of curiosity, I asked my 19-year-old son and his girlfriend if they could name any of the big 3 television networks. So after a lot of thought about it, a lot of deliberation, I think my son came up with ABC. His girlfriend couldn't name any. So as Gen Z becomes the next car shoppers, they're going to be harder to reach on linear TV anyway. So that's how YouTube CTV stacks up against linear TV, but how does it compare to other streaming services? First, it's important to know that nearly all of the watch time, 80%, happens on the top 5 services: Netflix, YouTube, Amazon Prime, Hulu, and Disney+. So the other 20% is scattered across other smaller services. Now, of those 5, only 2, YouTube and Hulu, are ad-supported. So overall, YouTube represents nearly half, or about 40%, of the monetizable minutes of CTV watch time. Now, the way we consume content is fragmented. We don't generally just watch one TV network or use just one streaming service. I would like to say that I use just one streaming service, but I think that I might be up to about 10 subscriptions right now. So there's a little bit of an overlap in viewers when we consider that. So can you actually reach people with YouTube streaming to TV sets? And here you can see the overlap between YouTube on CTV in red and the next biggest ad-supported service, Hulu, in green. Just for fun, we threw in a major TV network, NBC, which you see in blue. And so while there is some overlap, about 15 million viewers, and it looks like 2 million overlap on all three, the uniques reached by YouTube are much higher than uniques you can get on other networks. So if you're trying to reach a maximum number of car shoppers, even in your own local market, adding in YouTube CTV is a really good way to take your video efforts to the next level. But what if you're already investing in advertising on YouTube.com, on computers or mobile devices? Are you just duplicating your efforts? Actually, you're not. One study we ran with Nielsen showed that 74% of audiences reached on CTV were actually incremental to YouTube watched on a computer or mobile device. So different people are watching YouTube in different ways. Now, just like YouTube on a computer, the best reason for running YouTube on a TV screen is all of the power that you get from Google. From planning tools to being able to do all the targeting options I showed you before, to being able to collect Google Analytics and even do brand lift studies, we give you a very holistic look into your ad campaigns that tend to be unmatched. So as your living room becomes your dealership showroom, being able to reach YouTube watchers streaming to TV screens is really the best way to get your vehicle in front of the right shoppers. And again, this could be for new cars, it could be for your service specials, but you want to reach people where they are. At Google, we're trying to understand where people are when they're consuming media content. And then we want to get that information to you so that you're targeting people in the right places. So that is my YouTube presentation for you. Just some best practices, tips, and tricks. And then I wanted to show you that brand new platform we have in YouTube CTV. I've also included my email address here for you. It's at the bottom of the screen. Reach out to me if you have any questions about YouTube or about Google or other properties we have. If you want to talk about unskippable labs like I showed you at the beginning. But I also think that we have extra time here in case anybody has any questions.
Angie, one question did come in. Are there opportunities to utilize YouTube Shorts as a venue to have sponsored paid content, and would it have the same targeting capabilities as traditional YouTube?
That's a great question.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, was there more to the question?
It just says, if so, would Shorts be a good format to utilize an influencer or local personality?
Yeah, this is a great question. And actually, it's the second time I've gotten this question in the last few weeks, so it's definitely top of mind for people. YouTube Shorts are actually very new. If you don't know what they are and you're listening in, it's sort of our, it's just like it sounds, right? It's short form videos, kind of like you remember from Vine or maybe from TikTok. And you can see those on YouTube. Usually you can access them in the upper left of the screen from the YouTube homepage. So check them out if you haven't. Because they're so new to the platform, we're not actually monetizing them yet. I say yet because, you know, I've been here a long time. I'm sure at some point they will be monetizable, but unfortunately they just aren't yet.
Thanks, Angie. And again, if anyone has any questions, you can email Angie at angiec@google.com. Angie, I just thank you so much. You give us, the up-to-date on the tips and tricks, and this ever-changing technology-filled environment, and it's just always good to stay on top of the latest. So thank you again.
Well, thank
Everyone
you.
on the line, you'll be receiving a copy of this webinar by the end of next week. Then join us back here on Tuesday, May 10th, this Tuesday, at 2 p.m. Eastern, as Dealer Teamwork shares the 7.5 most important SEO items your dealership needs to address now. For more information about AIADA, visit AIADA.org. Thanks for tuning in and have a great day, everyone.